Hello everyone, and welcome to this board game overview for Kingdom Death Monsters Intimacy Story Events. I will also be covering Saviors as well, since this is how you get them. In this, I will be covering, the Intimacy Story event from the book, and not just the Saviors, but their basic abilities, and also their secret fighting arts, which are new to 1.5, as opposed to where they just had special abilities beforehand. I will be covering interactions involving various things that can affect intimacy. Beyond that, though, I'd recommend looking back at my Principles overview video and look for Principle New Life, where you can find Survival of the Fittest or Protect the Young, if you want to see what happens after intimacy is done in terms of to the settlement itself. With that said, let's get to the close-up stuff.
Nominate one consenting male and one consenting female survivor and roll on the table below. Note, consenting is important, as is the opposite genders. There are mechanics that can mess with these. In one of the expansions, there is already a disorder that results in one being non-consenting. Now, please keep in mind, when rolling on this table, after you've had your first child born, you will have a Principle New Life, as reminded over here. So, if you took Principle Protect the Young, roll twice and take the highest. If you took Principle Survival of the Fittest, roll twice and take the lowest. So, starting out, on a 1, the couple cannot bear the weight of the world. They clasp hands and march into the deep darkness. The nominated survivors are dead. Thankfully, it doesn't say disappear, because that is different than dead. You don't get to harvest resources or any of your principal deaths. But that's still 2 dead. 2 and 3, the female survivor perishes with her child during birth. The settlement is casting gloom. The male survivor mourns, gaining a random disorder and +3 insanity. As a note, double auto death is very easy to avoid, even in Survival of the Fittest. You just need face painting and 1 success on that. Some people say it stacks. The grammar implies it does, but I'm not too sure about it. And if it does, get 3 active successes from that, and all of your intimacy attempts will result in a child and no deaths. 4 through 6. A new survivor is brought kicking and screaming into the world. The child's eyes are free of the ink that stained the founders' faces. The settlement gains +1 population. 7 and 8. The settlement gains +1 population. The male and female survivors share a deep bond and gain 10 survival each, if your survival cap is even high enough to gain all of that. Otherwise, you just get the cap. 9 through 11. The settlement celebrates a twice fortune event. A pair of healthy newborn survivors enters the world. The settlement gains +2 population. Now, as for the 2 colored sidebars, if you have beds, the new child on a 7 or 8 will gain +1 permanent strength. If you have hovel on a 10, not on a 10 plus, there's a reason it says 11 plus, because you need a 10 exactly. Special child. On this day, everyone remembers the birth of a very special child. Where they step, hope flourishes. Story event, birth of a savior. This says if they do not already have a savior. So in other words, you can only have 1 savior. I don't know how people were getting more than 1 in 1.0. Birth of a savior. The newborn vanishes from the loving arms of the settlement for a fraction of a second. In that second, it spends a lifetime in the domain of the eternal dreamer and returns with a dream. Choose 1. Dream of the beast. The newborn savior gains a +1 permanent red affinity and +1 permanent strength. Also gains the following abilities. Cartosis. Before making an attack roll, you may declare Cartosis X in a loud, booming voice. If you do, that attack gains X automatic hits. X cannot be more than your total red affinity. When the attack ends, gain X Hunt XP. Yeah, these guys age a lot quicker in this version. When you trigger age 2, gain Beast of Cartosis Secret Fighting Art, which is, you may concentrate. If you do, perform Beast of Cartosis at the start of your next attack, which is, as stated below, Beast of Cartosis. You reach into the dream and despair in a shimmer of heat. Place your survivor adjacent to the monster, activate a weapon in your gear grid, and attack the monster. For this attack, your attack speed is equal to your red affinities, you hit automatically, and you gain strength equal to double your red affinities. Then gain 6 Hunt XP. It's possible to lose the survivor because of these abilities, which all gain 6 Hunt XP, or similar with any of the smaller abilities, to hit the retirement age, air quotes, and for the savior to immediately disappear in the middle of a fight. So keep that in mind. And finally, and this is on all 3 of them, so I'm only going to read it out once, Life Exchange. In the Aftermath, you gain 1 additional hunt XP. You may not wear other gear, as in gear with the other keyword. If you trigger the White Secret Story event, you cease to exist. When you retire, you cease to exist. Next up, we have Dream of the Crown. A newborn savior gains 1 permanent green affinity and +1 permanent evasion, and the following ability. Dormentus. When you suffer damage, you may declare Dormentus X in a loud, booming voice. If you do, gain X armor in each hit location. X cannot be more than your total green affinities. After the damage is resolved, gain X hunt XP, just like with the red ability. When you trigger Age 2, gain Grace of Dormatus, which is, you may concentrate. If you do, perform Grace of Dormatus at the start of your next turn. I'm not going to read that out for the third one because it's the, if you concentrate, perform this. Grace of Dormatus, you reach into the dream and remove a twisting green crown. The crown explodes, a glittering rain of shards coat the survivors. All survivors gain armor at all hit locations equal to your green affinities. You may remove up to the same number of tokens. As with the other one, gain 6 hunt XP. If you still exist, gain the priority token. Lastly, we have Dream of the Lantern. The newborn savior gains a permanent blue affinity, +1 permanent luck, and the following ability. Lucursin. Before making a wound attempt, you may declare Lucerne X in a loud, booming voice. If you do, that wound attempt gains X luck. X cannot be more than your total number of blue affinities. When the attack ends, gain X hunt XP, just like with the other 2. And, again, at age 2, gain the secret fighting art, Lucursin's Lantern, which is, upon using this, you reach into the dream and excise a screeching skull, darker than darkness, which is saying something for this setting. It hurtles at the monster. Reveal hit locations equal to half your blue affinities, round down, 1 at a time. The monster suffers a critical wound at any location with critical wound effects. Ignore the effects of trap. So you still draw the trap and it still counts as one of them. You just ignore it. Then reshuffle the hit location deck. So you don't get to skip the trap, entirely. And the usual gain 6 hunt XP, which, as made clear by the previous one, can make you stop existing.
Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, feel free to press the like button. If you think it will help someone else, please share this video. If this video wasn't helpful, go ahead and press the dislike button. But please try to leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general. And if you want to see more like this, be it other board game overview videos, my unboxing videos, my painting videos, or anything else that I do on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.